Hello everybody, welcome back. We're here today with another beautiful product of nature, and I love this one because its name means the joy of the mountains. Now Greeks believed that this was a gift from the goddess Aphrodite and that it symbolized joy. The father of medicine, Hippocrates, used its oils to treat all kinds of skin diseases. But today, it's one of the most staple herbs in many cuisines. So let's talk about the aromatic oregano. Oregano is an herb, of course. And since we're talking about herbs, and this is probably one of the first videos that we're going to talk about herbs, let me just make a parenthesis of food geography here, that the biggest hub of herbs on planet Earth is the Mediterranean. And oregano specifically originates from Greece. Now we find some in Western Asia as well and in Mexico, but mainly when we're talking about this whole world of herbs, it's mainly found in the Mediterranean. Now oregano, like any other product of nature, comes in different varieties. I have a couple of them here. So we find the oregano that's more sweet, we find the oregano that's very bitter, we found the oregano that's more pepperish, and of course, as we said once before, this is because everything that grows is affected by the area in which it grows. The soil, the sun, the seasons, the rain, the distance it has from the sea, all of this affects its texture, its color, but mainly its nutrient content. Now, oregano is a very fragrant and very culinary herb. If you watch, all the cooking shows, you would see that oregano is always used in cooking, in a lot of the cooking, in many recipes. It's a favorite, and it's used for its aromatic leaves, of course. And we should mention here that this happens very often, but specifically with oregano, its leaves become more aromatic and stronger in taste as well as in aroma when they are dry rather than when they are fresh. I have here my beautiful oregano. Now, it blooms in the spring, and it reaches its peak in early summer. Now when herbs bloom, they always have these tiny little flowers that range in color from light pink to dark pink or dark purple. It's a very strong herb, but of course it's quite safe. You can use it. It's only when we're talking about things like essential oils that are extracted from herbs, and this is when we start actually calculating how much of it are we having or can we use. Other than that, it's quite safe and you can use it, and it's safe for logical reasons as well, because first of all, we don't use it in huge amounts. And the second is that we don't usually use the same herbs every day. So let's take a closer look at oregano. Now, oregano, we said, like all herbs, we dry it and so that we can have it all year round. Let me show you first my fresh oregano here. It has a beautiful green, and it has relatively small leaves. It has velvety leaves. Now here I have a couple of varieties. What I just showed you, this is the semi-dry version of it. It's not completely dry, and I kept it on the stems, the stalks, so that you can see it. This is not completely dry. When we dry leaves, herbs, we mean that they need to be dry, like really, really dry, like cracking dry. This is when they dry, and we're going to be talking about how to dry herbs in another video. Now this one that I just showed you is from Greece. This can be a step further, and in the Middle East it's traditional that they actually grind it and they turn it into a powder. This contains some sesame in it, which is fine. And this specific one came from Jerusalem. Now another type of oregano is this one. This is a favorite. This is really, really strong. Now the best oregano is the one that grows in the mountains, high on its own, no irrigation. It's just picked. And I can tell you, a friend of mine brought me this from the small island of Kea or Zia in the Mediterranean in Greece. And when Alexander got me this, the smell was so strong, I literally had to have my windows open for 3 days. I mean, it was wonderful smell, but it was so overwhelming. And you can see how it shrivels here. And this is the end product. And this is the most commonly known oregano. So we know oregano and we use it, but what about its nutritional value? Let's talk about that. Now they say that herbs fit both in the kitchen cabinet and the medicine cabinet. And I guess they say that because there is a need to stress their therapeutic effect as well. They're not just used, you know, to enhance flavor, but they also do a lot of good to our health. So what does oregano do? Now oregano is an antibiotic. Okay, it's antibacterial, so it actually fights microorganisms that may be harmful to us. So it fights yeast, it fights candida, it kills pathogens without killing microorganisms that are already in our body that we need. And if you think about it, this is a pretty big accomplishment for an herb. And some studies even prove that it's also antiviral, so it fights some viruses. Now, again, I don't want to imply that you substitute that with medication or any medication that your doctor is advising you to take, but it's definitely something not to miss, what therapeutic effects herbs have, and not only herbs, so that we can just take good advantage. Because again, I stress the fact that nutrition plays the key role in disease prevention, in the prevention stage. Now, oregano is also anti-inflammatory, and this is very important because inflammation is a lot of times the first step to something more serious like cardiac disease or diabetes. So it's pretty neat to know this about it. It also helps with allergies. So for people who do have allergies, I think it's something that's really worth looking into. It's also an antioxidant. We all know that fruits and vegetables are full of antioxidants. Well, guess what? Herbs are antioxidants as well, and oregano is not an exception. But perhaps the most powerful area it is in, the greatest good it does, is to our respiratory system. From sinus to throat to bronchus to bronchi to the lungs in general. Oregano has long been known to have its therapeutic effect there. And you can just even use it in tea. If you drink oregano with other herbs as a tea, you will feel this burning in the throat, which is always a designation of the therapeutic effect it has. And as far as calories go, I wouldn't even mention it, because for the amounts that we use, it's really minimal. So how can we use oregano? Of course, as I said, in many recipes all over the internet, you will see recipes where oregano is used. But mainly we see oregano used with the meat, this type of oregano, because this is the most commercial type of it. We see it used with meat. If you cook a piece of steak, you just put your salt and pepper, and then you smear oregano on it and put it on the grill. And the same thing, by the way, you can do with bread. Just spread some oil on a piece of bread and put some oregano and put it on the grill, and you'll see what you're gonna have. Or if you bake meat and potatoes in the oven, that is also a very good accompaniment. And there you can use the stalks, the stems as well. Now, I would not use oregano with things like a stew, where I would have a lot of more fluid in the pot and let that oregano boil for too long, because it would probably bring out a bitterness, and so I wouldn't use it there. Now, this type of oregano, which is the leaves, this is very good with baked goods. So if you are accustomed, or if you like to bake bread at home, you can use something like, for every 4 cups of flour, you can use 1 cup of this oregano, and you would see how the water in the dough would be absorbed by the leaves, and they would bring out this beautiful taste and aroma. Now, regarding this powder, a very nice thing to do is just mix it with olive oil. Now, if you don't have access to something like this, you can just take oregano, either this or this, and grind them in the blender or in the coffee grinder, and as close as possible to a powder, and then put some olive oil and add this powder to it, and what you're going to get is a dark green paste, which you can, it's actually a spread, which you can spread on bread. Now, there's also some ready-made doughs in the supermarket that you buy, and a lot of people, they take them and they either do salty things like adding cheese and ham in it and then cooking them, or sweet like adding chocolate with it and then cooking that dough. What you also can do is make something like this and spread it on that dough and cook it, and that would be wonderful. But also a very simple thing to do is add a couple of fresh oregano leaves into a tea. If you make like a simple tea, a green tea, or a light tea, and then you add a couple of leaves of oregano, it would give this awesome taste and fragrance, do a lot of good to your health. Use oregano in your cooking, in your nutrition. And at the end of the day, just ask yourself, have I included herbs in my food today? You know, don't miss out on the goodness of them. And it's easy to keep. Once you dry it, you know, you can just put it in a jar and put it in your pantry, and it will last for 2 to 3 years. And it will still have this wonderful taste and aroma. So use it, because remember, the closer we are to nature, the healthier we are. This is the end of this video. If you like the content, please subscribe by clicking underneath this video. It's totally free. You can click like, you can share it with friends. Click the subscribe so that you can be notified every time there's a new video coming up. Join the Facebook group. We have our discussions and answers to your questions in there. And also visit us in other social media like Instagram and Pinterest, so that you can see more beautiful photos of this product. So this is the end of the video. Goodbye, see you next time.